Hello, breadfiesta here, and welcome back to Let's Play Car Mechanics Simulator 2015. We are not quite the Car Mechanics Simulator just yet. We are still just breadfiesta, who will be playing Sandbox Expert mode here. Hopefully this part of the video is not lagging like crazy, as I cannot seem to record it in a non-laggy way. But I'm going to try. Because I thought what was interesting here is I've never clicked on the stats before, or at least I hadn't prior to a previous attempt to record this. And this would be the first time that we'd ever see this on this playthrough. Cars owned 1. We have owned 1 cars. We've earned nearly $200,000, which is crazy because we definitely only had well, I guess we spent a lot on garage upgrades and such. Over 2,000 bolts unbolted, 1,500 parts unmounted, which is crazy because I feel like there are way more bolts on some parts than there are. I guess, well, there's a lot of parts that don't have any bolts, so maybe it evens out more than I think. We've only completed 39 jobs, which is crazy. I feel like we've done way more than that, but I guess not. We've never sold a car. We've never earned money from selling a car, but we have repaired over 250 parts. So we're very good at Car Mechanics Simulator 2015. Let's go ahead and continue, and let's assume the role of the Car Mechanics Simulator. This loading screen is very long. I timed the end of last video really well with that song, though. Well, here we are. It wasn't a very long loading screen for you, actually. It was just a very long loading screen for me. We're still wearing blue clothes. It's blue clothes season, so let's do that. And then let's go ahead and start, as we always do, with the gimmick of reading the memo. Here it is on the desk right here. Memo from Car Mechanic Head of HR Simulator. It is currently November something at some point on some day. And the memo reads, please be sure to thank the people who have been watching your videos for all the decade that you've been making them, because there have been a couple who have been watching my channel for at least that long, and I'm very grateful. Some of them I've known since I used to work at the summer camps. So, you know, it is very much appreciated that you enjoy what it is I'm doing, and just for a creative, fun outlet. It feels nice as a creator, as an artist, and I appreciate it. It makes me feel good. As a gamer, also, I like seeing number get big, and if that number is the view count on my video, and if big means double digits, that's good for me. I like it. Got no intention of making this worldwide fame sort of gig, just about having fun and doing some stuff I like and feeling good about it. Car Mechanics Simulator has been sort of the theme of 2023 for me. I'm hoping we'll be able to buy a... Oh, what was the car? It is a Maserati. It was a Stradale. Maserati MC Stradale. That's right. A name that I can't pronounce. So that is still the goal. We'll try to do what we can. My grad school semester ends at the end of November, so I will have some time in December. And as a bonus to people who have been sticking around and watching, I don't normally do this, but well, last year I didn't even do it at all. But Introverts Day, I am intending to release a whole series that day. I don't usually say what it is ahead of doing it, except for the one year that I did when I played Cherry Tree High. which is a game that's not even on Steam anymore. They took it off. So my playthrough of it is probably the last playthrough that will ever exist of Cherry Tree High Comedy Club, which is crazy because I didn't even 100% it. I timed some things bad because it was a blind playthrough. And I'd love to revisit it at some point, but I'm tired. But my Introvert's Day plan playthrough is going to be as I understand, like a visual novel type game on my queue, actually. Which, for those of you also that have been following that, defeating the queue project, I recently did a review of all the games I had. When I made that video 3 years ago, I had 64 games on my queue. And now 3 years later, it's only at 67, I believe was the number I had. So generally in control. Like, I have not been adding too many more games than I've been completing them. So I've got it kind of under control for somebody who's tired all the time. And I'm sure that number will stay that way as I continue being a grad school student. This is a great view. Let's look at the car at least. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. I intend to continue living as a full human being. I know it is difficult. This is all on the memo, by the way. That's yeah, it's difficult to do as a full-time employee and a part-time graduate student. I'm very tired. I don't know if I've said that already. But that's the plan. I didn't even say what game I was going to play. I think I mentioned it's a visual novel. The Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog. That's what I want to play for Introvert's Day this year. So I'm going to do that. You can anticipate the whole series being released on the 25th of December because nothing else happens on that day. It's only my made-up holiday that nobody has ever celebrated with me. And by definition of Introvert's Day, why would they? So, would have loved that to have changed within the last 10 years. But not for lack of trying. So last time we bought a car. There it is. It's not the car we wanted. This is not a Maserati. Let's go speak to it. This is not a Maserati MC Stradale. This is in fact a Katagiri Katsumoto. You can tell because of the famous Katagiri logo. This car is broken. I don't even know if it will drive. Actually, you know what? That's a good test. Let's take it into cannot start engine. Okay, so this car actually cannot move. If we want to move it into the garage, we have to somehow push it through this door. Which, you know what? I guess, okay, I was going to say, like, you can barely see out the window here, and I was going to say, if this door is supposed to lead to the garage, but you can't see, like, a garage there, so I guess this, because I have two parking garages go to parking, yeah, let's just do it. Let's just take a look. There's nothing down there, I hope. Kind of like that song, too. That was a good background for my introductory discussion. Yep, that sure is nothing. Great. I can't even go to the other garage from here. I have to just go to the other parking. So there's 6 cars, like parking slots for the 2 garages that I have. So I can have in my garage, I believe, a total of 12 in the parking, 2 on the lifters, 1 in the center, 1 in the dyno, 1 in the test path, 1 in the paint. So I believe that's a total of 18 cars I could have. However, that would severely limit my mobility on being able to do any work. And to be honest, like, I've been playing this. This is now episode something. And I'll fill it in editing later, although I probably won't. I'll make some sort of humorous joke about it. I feel like I've been playing this for a while, and the fact that we were only just able to barely afford our first car. You know, I'm obviously not like speed running this because I think speed running is a not particularly fun way to play video games. It's perfectly fine to watch, but terrible to play like that. I can't live my life that way. So I've been playing at a fairly casual pace, but I feel like that might just be the game. So who knows? Maybe they'll pick up at this point now that we've got a car. Because like if I were to sell if I were to sell my firstborn child here, you know, I could already sell it for 10,000, which is I think less than what we bought it for. I don't remember. Because Love does not operate that way, obviously. So okay. Here's what we're gonna do. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna do a job. We came here to work, so we're gonna do work. We're going to work on the Royale GTR. Doesn't have a whole lot going wrong for it, so that's fine. Loud when accelerating is easy. Controlling car feels loose, and running gear faults. Those are all around the wheels. The rims. You could still call it. Take the job. You can still call them rims. No, of course you can call them rims because that's what they're called. You shouldn't call them tires because that's just the rubber part and that's attached to the rim. But I think you can call, or maybe the wheel is like the whole thing, like including like the knuckle and stuff. That's my idea. You know, I wasn't really expecting the light green because I didn't look at it, but it's not that bad. It's only a 2-seater, which is not great. I worry that the door is going to do something stupid. Yeah. Alright, well, the door has already disqualified this. I do like that it is a digital display here and not an analog clock, so that's nice. There's limited like kind of brown leather interior, so if it was all like the light gray, I think that would be way better. The inside of the car is not bad. The door is terrible. This car has an incredibly long nose, but a decent butt. So in general, I'm okay with this car. It's not so bad. What's the wow, that's a lot. 89% though, so this is gonna be real easy to work on. We can just like, we'll just crush this. Let's just crush this. In fact, let's take it to, let's put it on the lifter. We don't want to do the test path because it's gonna waste time. Not that we're a speedrunner, because I don't like that. Running gear and exhaust, it's all gonna be under the car. So let's just lift it up and see what happens. Not even gonna look at the engine. I'll look at it from this angle. There it is. Okay. Well, let's see here. Yeah, there's a bunch. Let's go ahead and take the rim off. Now, I'm not a big fan of the rims that you can see through, like that have, like, I wanted to say they're ventilated, but it's not. It's not ventilated. The knuckle is bad, so all of this has to come off. And that like zoom out thing is probably like my least favorite thing about the entire game. Is that if you zoom in on a part, then it default zooms you back out, which can be disorienting. Like here, as soon as I do this, it's going to zoom me back out, which I don't necessarily want. I think I have to take off. Yeah, it's all got to go. If you like change your zoom while like after it zooms you in to unscrew a part, so like it just changed my zoom there. If I change it here and then unbolt here, then I stay at my zoom level. Painful. So this again, just gonna take off everything that we can. Not everything that we can, everything that we need to. Especially when it's the whole knuckle, and I can see like basically all of the exhaust is bad. Which probably means the intake manifold, oh no, the exhaust manifold is fine, but this one is bad. So we will need to lower the car just for that one part. Oh, hey, look at this, rubber bushing. Okay, we're gonna need to be, that's probably, if there was any reason to go into the test path, it is the rubber bushing. This one, we're up close and personal. We can see that it is just fine. Let's just get this while we're here. And this one too. This rubber bushing is also fine. Can I just go over to this one? This one we're kind of in, but it looked fine. It was fine, actually. So we can just, we'll put it back. Okay, let's take off this rim. We'll press the right buttons. Neat to see our car over there. Look at that. That's a nice thumbnail image. Click. Okay. This also, it's not the knuckle as bad, is it? No. But it is that piece. The wheel hub. So we'll take off all the brake stuff. All the tie rods gotta go. The whole sway bar system has to go. And we also have to get this, oh goodness, what is that? Shock absorber. Okay. So with our current status, we are at not even half. We did find all the controlling that thing, which it looks like. Did I take off both of the outer tie rods? I did. Okay. So we have one inner tie rod for sure is duplicate, but that's the only duplicate actually, because one outer tie rod here, one outer tie rod here. Sway bar front end link are both here, but not here. So the only thing that is that we just need to make sure not to buy, because we probably can't fix those inner tie rods, is we only need 2 inner tie rods, and I should know that at this point. All must go. But leave enough to, hello. Leave enough to get me to the back of the car. Yeah, it's basically the entire exhaust except for this piece is I'm gonna have to take off the rim. Except for, yeah, that one exhaust manifold had to go. This song rules. The whole soundtrack rules, honestly. I use it for so much. Is that piece bad also? It was. Look at that. I am going to need to... Something here is particularly bad. Wheel hub, I guess. Brakes got to go then. Oh, look at that sway bar rear end link. There's some game I was thinking of playing soon. Maybe next year. Like, assuming I get Car Mechanic Simulator to a point I'm satisfied with by the end of this year. Big assumption, I suppose, but... oh, I see that rubber bushing. I don't think that one in the back is bad. No, that one's fine. I think that's everything from that side. So now I go over here. Yeah, I have a game that I would like to play for the channel in the starting next year. It's one that is, again, like not super active, so it'll be easy to sort of like sit down and play, kind of like this one. This one, the knuckle is bad again, so I got to take off everything. But all in time. Wheel hub. It's a simulation game. It's actually a like I'd classify it as like a fighting game. Small rubber bushing. Maybe that's a regular sized rubber bushing. Still no. Maybe it's just this. Sometimes it's just a little thing. No? Alright. That's fine. Oh, I wouldn't have noticed this rubber bushing actually here. Still no, huh? Alright. Shock absorber, that's fine. Alright, well there's only so many parts left. I guess gotta take off the shock absorber. There's 2 shock absorbers? Okay. Now, we should have everything at this point. Oh, we're still... Oh, the manifold. Yeah. Let's just grab that real quick. Stand as far away from this as possible. This car is definitely not going anywhere. At least the hood opens in a normal way. I wasn't worried that it wouldn't. But yeah, I would like to use this because that game that I'm thinking of playing has a soundtrack that is... it's a game that's newer, so it has like a creator mode where it just turns off the soundtrack because it's just an immediate copyright strike factory. And I was thinking of just using this since this is all Creative Commons songs, even the one that gets me a copyright notice, which is silly. Okay, we can fix some of these, and we're going to do it for all of them. That's not enough. Not enough. That is enough. Not even close. 82 is not enough either. 68 not enough. Bummer. 79. Real bummer. 37. 88. 50. 100. 100. 83. 100. I think 89 is the limit. Excuse me. 89. Okay. 100. 100. And 100. And everything else is above. Great. Okay, well, we start putting stuff back. This is how we do it now, instead of doing the bulk buy. I mean, I suppose it would be... We could still do the bulk buy if I got rid of... If I offloaded all that other junk. It gives me more time to talk to you, I suppose. D parentheses V8. I've been playing some games myself, like personally. I've got when I was putting together, in fact, the whole impetus for reassessing my queue came from I was playing the game Bravely Default 2 for the Switch. I think it's also on Steam. But Bravely Default 1, I've mentioned, if you recall, my GameStruck 4 video years ago. But Bravely Default 1 is like my favorite video game of all time. Knuckle B. And so, like, I played that. I played Bravely Second. I like Bravely Second. Not as much as the original, but I still liked it. And then when Bravely Default 2 came out, it was just like, I'm excited, I'm hyped. And then I played the demo, and it was just like, I'm not as hyped for this. Let's put this one here. And put this. But I was still like, you know what, it's just a demo, we'll figure it out. And so I did eventually get the game, and finally started playing it a couple months ago. and realized that, like, pretty early I realized, like, oh, I'm not enjoying this as much as the originals. The pacing of the game just seemed very weird. Front sway. Better be a regular front sway bar. Yep. Yeah, from like the story aspect, I wasn't enjoying it as much. Both sway bar front end link. Sway bar. But it's like, it's fine. You know, maybe the story will pick up. The characters, I mean, well, first thing I noticed, I turned this off as soon as I possibly could, was the English voice acting. Just awful. The game was produced in this like period where like British voice actors were having like a moment, and I couldn't do it. It was just too annoying. How many rubber bushings are we gonna need? 5? I have 5 rubber bushings in here, and they're all bad, so I never took out a good one. Let's just buy them. Rubber bushing. There's 5. So yeah, the voice acting wasn't doing it for me. The characters were not. I didn't really like them at first. The main character, who you get to name. So when it's automatically like a name, I would put the name of the default name of the character is Seth instead of the part that I'm trying to buy, which is the inner tie rod. So like a character that you can name is just kind of by default, like, has no personality, by bravely default even, and that's totally true of this guy. No personality whatsoever, no chemistry with the like kind of the other lead, what's her name, Gloria. No chemistry whatsoever with her. He does have chemistry with Adele, I think, but it's just like, I don't know. It wasn't doing it for me. The characters aren't really doing it for me. You also like have to like buy into their story very quickly, which I've seen before in other like stories, like in comics where it's like the second comic, where the first comic that, you know, this creator made, I'm thinking webcomics. You know, their first webcomic was like very good, very popular, and then they decide they want to make a second one, but then the second one is not as good because they kind of forgot what made the first one good, and it was like appropriate pacing and introduction to a interesting set of characters, and instead they sort of make a story where you just sort of like expect that the characters are good and interesting, and then they end up not being that. If that makes any sense. To me it does. And that's because this is sort of an off-the-cuff, spur-of-the-moment discussion, as I try to also focus on car. Alright. Pipe. The OHB one was cheaper. You'd think like it's more specialized, so would it be? Should it be? Before I go to the back of the car, let's make sure I put all the rubber bushing back. It appears that I did, so we will navigate our way back. We need a couple of catalytic converters. That's going to be money. Oh, it's going to drop us under 40k for now. Warhammer 40k. Bravely Default. Bravely Default 2. So, like, at the beginning of the game, not really feeling the characters, not really feeling the story, not really feeling the gameplay either. Like, it is... They changed a lot about the battle system, and for a JRPG, like, the battle system, you really want to be tight, and I really did enjoy that about the original, and to a lesser extent, Bravely Second. Because Bravely Second also changed the way the job system worked to make a fair amount of the jobs less useful, because they gave them less options, and really having like a lot of options for these jobs made you want to experiment, as well as like the games were not few of the bosses were really tricky, I would say, in Bravely Default 1, the original. Oh, I didn't even pay attention to what that part was called. Rear muffler V8. R parentheses V8. Rear muffler V8. So, like, yeah, in Bravely Default 1, I always felt like that's it, how close I want to be to that part, sure. I always felt like I could put together any assortment of characters as long as I followed some sort of like reasonable, like, you can't have 4 healers and expect to be able to win every battle. Like, that's fair. That is reasonable, I think. And that's how I approached Bravely Default 1. So as long as I had like a balanced team of we are going to have to replace some of these parts, but I'll do it on the other side of the car. Like, the strategy I would take is like 1 defender, 1 attacker, 1 supporter, and 1 healer. Dash is what I called my strategy for defender, attacker, supporter, healer. And I've tried to so far follow that in Bravely Default 2, but the game is like, hard is one way to describe it, but kind of more realistically, the game is punishing, in that it does not really like want you to do it wants you to do experimentation, but it's very limited in the experiments that it will accept, and I just don't like it because of, like, I use that word punishing, and it's particularly like rear wheel hub. Like, if you look up any of the discussion, and this is something I've hated about my experience with Bravely Default 2, rear wheel hub regular, yeah, is that I have spent a lot of time like looking up people's opinions, and I just hate doing that because I don't actually care what other people's opinions are of the games that I'm currently playing. Like, I just want to play it and have my own experience. So that on its own already soured my time with the game. But it is what it is, and it's how it happened. And there was just a lot of this kind of almost get good mindset, which I just generally disagree with. Like, sometimes games are just not well balanced. Hold up. Stop. Give me my 100%. No. I must have had that spring cap before, and so I'm going to hang on to it. Sway bar, rear end link. That's how you spell those words. Oh my gosh, sway. The bottom of the sway bar rear end link isn't actually attached to anything. Oh, I guess it's attached to the rear sway bar. Just didn't look like it when I was putting it in. Right there, I see it. I wonder in the back why the shock absorber isn't attached to the spring like it is in the front. Maybe that's just something special about the double wishbone. Wheel hub bearing. The inside thing will have to rear drive axle. There we go. And the rim. I believe that's actually going to be everything. Because it let us put back in all of the rims. And I know for sure we have all the rubber bushings in. So if I go to my inventory, what I should expect to see is... What's that? What's that doing there? Oh, you know what? Let's get our good suspension arm back. This is not a cherry. That wasn't even the good suspension arm. I want my 100% one. Stay there. Anyway, it's like finishing up this Bravely Default discussion. When I say the game is punishing, you know, there are like there's boss battles, right? But the boss battles, like, you're given all these options, but then the bosses will have all these counters to specific things. And so, like, when you try to experiment, you'll just be, like, randomly punished for using a specific class, which then the game expects you to back out of the entire game, to lose the battle, back out, and reconfigure your whole team. Which, like, is not the way that I played Bravely Default 1, and I feel like I played Bravely Default 1 the way that the game was intended to be played. And I guess I'm just not following the way that the game is intended to be played in Bravely Default 2 because it's so different. And I don't like it. It's tough. Like, it's tough for me to... This is not what I wanted to click. I wanted to click this. Well, we've got everything back into the car. Not a very profitable job, but such it is. Let's sell the junk here. Hopefully I didn't lose another 100% part. No, we're good. Sell junk. And we'll just sell the rest of the junk. The not as bad junk, but I can't do anything with. I'm sure not putting it into my car.